It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
Hello and welcome to the NBA on 2K Sports. Ernie Johnson with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny Smith. Tonight we'll be watching the Utah Jazz playing against the Houston Rockets. Looking at Houston, you look at how this roster is constructed, the types of plays they run. They're looking to match up well against every style of opponent, and tonight will be a great test of that. Great center matchup tonight. Shaq, I know you've been waiting all day to watch this one. One of the best low post players of all time in yourself. Give us your thoughts on why the stretch five has become so popular.
Well, in a lot of offenses these days, floor spacing is king. And what you see now, you see a lot of bigs are practicing shooting the three more than ever.
Yeah, even the younger centers. You think of Towns and Cousins and Embiid, as powerful as they are, they love to stay on that perimeter and shoot that three ball. So it's hard to stay on the floor right now if you can't shoot it.
Yes, you came into the league at the right time.
No, I would have made them revert back to
So you'd have a hard time getting off the bench these days, Shaq, because you didn't shoot the three ball well.
Shaq on the bench don't even sound right together. That's like peanut butter and tar.
That can be pretty tasty.
No, that doesn't sound right together, Ernie.
No, it doesn't. I'm just kidding, big fella. Wasn't it funny? Did you find that amusing?
You hurt my feelings, Ernie.
Did you hurt? Come on.
Don't talk
Give
to me
me a
for
big
2 seconds. La 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 la.
The Rockets are looking to defeat their Western Conference rival going into this game. Thanks for joining us as we get set to bring you NBA basketball on 2K Sports. Kevin Harlan here with Greg Anthony and a pair of Hall of Famers with us, Doris Burke and David Aldridge. And let's go straight over to David Aldridge for a report before the tip-off. Hey, Dave.
Well, guys, we know James Harden hits that step-back three a lot, and Mike D'Antoni says most coaches would think, okay, he had a tough shot, live with it. That's some hard living, but it's one of the most lethal shots in the game. Kevin?
Yeah, with that pump fake, he can get to the free throw line too, DA. There's just no answer. We have two teams tonight, Doris, with a lot of experience between them. What type of game, in your view, does that typically result in?
Well, typically you see a very well-played game, very few turnovers from either side, a high level of execution on both the offensive and defensive ends, and sometimes it comes down to the little things. Who wins the 50-50 balls? Who goes to the free throw line more? When you're talking about two high-caliber, experienced teams, it's the little things that make a difference.
Attention to detail. Well said. And so off the tip, it's Utah. Here's the starting group for Houston. Paul and Harden are the incredible backcourt duo. E.J. Tucker is out there with Clint Capella, and it's Gordon in at the small forward position. Now, here's Mitchell. 6 to shoot. Over Harden. Mitchell's shot is good. Mitchell's got the game going with his first points of the game for the Jazz.
And just like that, first lead of the game.
Well, this is how you want to get out of the gate. Set the tempo. Perfect way to open this up.
And a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot 2 here. It's going to be on Rudy Gobert.
Well, at the start of the summer, many expected a busy market for Capella in free agency. Eventually, though, signing a 4-year deal to remain with the Rockets. I feel like it's a great deal for Houston as Capella gives them the perfect inside presence to complement Harden and Paul.
First free throw is good.
What is really compelling to me is the way the Utah Jazz team plays defense. Yes, it starts with the stifled tower of Rudy Gobert, but there is commitment and there is great structure in what they want to do on the defensive end, and I'll tell you, it is absolutely suffocating at times.
Off on that one, so he goes 1 for 2 at the line. And for the Jazz, defense is the identity this team builds around.
You look at nearly every defensive metric from a season ago, the Jazz were near the top in most. They are great at forcing turnovers, great at closing out possessions with excellent defensive rebounding, and they do a great job of bothering shots and rotating in necessary positions. I love this team on that end of the floor.
Al Harden following the three-point attempt by Donovan Mitchell.
And I think that one could have easily have fallen for him.
Ingles against Gordon. Mitchell outside. To the paint. Utah needs to get off a shot here. Rockets with the rebound.
Boy, terrific defense to impact the shot, not giving him any space at all.
Paul passes to Harden. 12 seconds left in the first quarter of the game. From deep three-point range, that shot no good. And still a close game as the first quarter comes to a close. Utah out in front, leading by a point. Stay with us as we get set to bring you the second quarter right after this. There's a great friendship between Melo, LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Paul. And Chris talked about where all that started.
It's been a sort of long relationship, you know, and obviously me, Bron, Melo, D-Wade have all really gotten really close. And that stems from the time with the Olympics, USA teams, and then just sharing a lot of the same likes and values and having kids and family and different things like that.
And you see that a lot nowadays. Star players developing friendships and GAs spending time with each other off the floor.
Yeah, some people hate it because they want that bad blood you used to see, but no reason you have to hate someone to really compete against them.
And if you're just tuning in, it's been a pretty even game through the first quarter. And the guys, what's your take on Utah so far?
I think they play great D and not giving up anything easy early on.
You love that they're making the offense work, right? Making every single thing they try to do hard.
Crowder is the 4 and Gobert is the 5. Kyle Korver is out there with Ricky Rubio, and it's O'Neal in at the small forward. That's the group for Utah getting going here in the second. Here's Gobert after Austin Rivers score. Korver kicks to O'Neal. 1:04 left here in the second. Lets it go from deep. The shot misses. And Houston the other way now. In the corner, it's Gordon. The pass to Rivers. Back to Gordon. And Tucker has it in the corner. Good on the triple. Tucker's got himself on the board with 3 there.
I know he's not the most efficient long-range shooter, but Tucker hits enough of those to space out the defense.
O'Neal against Gordon. Now, here is O'Neal. Defense right on him. Over Gordon. It'll go. The Rocket lead is cut down to just 2 points in the bucket from O'Neal. 12 seconds left to play here in the half. Gordon deciding where to go with it. With 1 on the clock. No good on the last second attempt there.
That's great to see Kyle Korver be aggressive on the defensive end. Got to use your height and positioning.
So that'll be it for the first half. Fairly even battle underway in this one. Rockets lead by 2. And a chance now to send it over to David Aldridge, standing by courtside. David.
Thank you, Kevin. With Coach Quinn Snyder. Quinn, what has to happen in the second half?
Well, we got to keep getting stops and really just make plays. Make plays on the offensive end and be solid defensively. No magic.
It's a pretty simple game, right, Coach? Thanks for your time. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, David. And we'll be back for the third quarter of action following halftime.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
It is a good game we have here after one half of play. Everybody, welcome back for our halftime show. Ernie Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kenny Smith. Houston found themselves in a close game in the first. Some good action during the period, as it was just a one-point game at the end of one. The second quarter was a tight battle, but they were the slightly better team. Not by very much, however. Kenny, what'd you think about the Rockets?
Well, it's always a little bit of a challenge playing on the road, but they came in mentally prepared and physically prepared. The energy in the arena was fierce, but they didn't cave in.
And Shaq, how'd you think the Jazz were playing?
Well, they're definitely struggling with their offensive efficiency. Anytime you're shooting in the low 30s from the floor, you're not going to put yourself in a position to win. They look too predictable right now. They need to do a better job of adjusting to what they're seeing from the defense.
And that's a wrap for our halftime show. The third quarter just about to get started.
We welcome you back now to Salt Lake City with a breathtaking view of the layout of this beautiful town. And as we get into this third quarter, as we've seen so far, neither team able to create much separation on the scoreboard yet. Well, Doris, we've seen how much organizations set the tone, set the culture from the top on down. What common traits have you seen among successful team owners?
Well, boy, oh boy, so many, I think. Obviously, there has to be some level of financial commitment. You have to be willing to hire good talent. You have to be willing to hire coaches that you believe either developmentally are going to have a bright future, or if you're hiring an experienced coach with championship pedigree, are you willing to pay those types of positions? What is your commitment to the non-traditional aspects that we've seen take a more informed role in how decisions are made? What is your analytics department made up of? What is your nutrition, your strength and conditioning, your training program? Are you hiring top-level professionals across the board? And then to me, it's always about, there's a great quote that says, any organization is defined by the worst behavior tolerated at the top of the leadership position.
So on the floor for Houston, the engine of this team, Paul and Harden in the backcourt. Gordon out there with P.J. Tucker, and it's Capella in at the 5 down low. And let's catch up with our sideline reporter, David Aldridge.
Well, as we know, Rudy Gobert is a 7-footer with an aggressive mentality. He said some guys don't have pride, but I do, sometimes too much. Quinn Snyder said he gets angry, which I like. Whatever kind of stereotypes Americans have about the French, they don't apply. Not to him anyway, guys.
Sacre bleu! Thank you, D.A. He is indeed a fiery competitor. Timeout is called, first of the game for the Jazz.
And his guys are getting frustrated. Coach just really kind of needs to calm them down.
I think, Greg, they've got to continue to believe that the next shot is going to go in. He can hopefully communicate that effectively to them.
And the Jazz with some changes. Jay Crowder's checked in for Rudy Gobert. Cephalosha comes in for Joe Ingles. And it's Corver in for Ricky Rubio. Gerald Green, he's checked in for Houston. Rivers comes in for Chris Paul. Now, here's Mitchell. Just 2 seconds between shot clock and game clock. Clock at 4. And he drops in the layup off the glass.
What area of the floor can't Donovan Mitchell score from? This guy, terrific job on the interior.
And so it's Houston in the driver's seat, up 8 points at the end of the quarter. Defensively, they have gotten after it, contesting every shot going up. We've got more NBA basketball coming your way in just a minute. And while we can now, let's take a look at today's State Farm assist of the game.
Yeah, an easy choice tonight. Look at the precision on this pass. Put it on a platter for him.
And when you're the beneficiary of a pass that good, you better deliver, and he did just that.
And this is it. Glad to have you along for this fourth and final quarter. Jazz trail by 8. All right, now a chance to set the floor courtesy of Gatorade. Fourth quarter action, all fueled up and ready to go. So on the floor for Utah, Cephalosha is out there with Jay Crowder. Then there's Kyle Korver. Then it's Donovan Mitchell, and it's Favors in at the 5 spot. And here's Harden after the three-pointer from Jay Crowder. From the arc. Harden, no good. 1:29 left here in the fourth quarter. Rivers against Mitchell. Yep, it counts.
When he's determined to finish, Donovan Mitchell is so good powering through whatever the defense puts in his path.
A different look for Utah. Rudy Gobert, he's checked in for Favors. Royce O'Neal comes in for Cephalosha. And Ricky Rubio subbed in for Kyle Korver. And a switch here also for Houston. Eric Gordon, he's checked in for Gerald Green.
Boy, you have to love his poise at the free throw line. He's never rattled, no matter how much pressure he might be under.
Harden outside. Off target with his 3.
I'll tell you, his touch has been off all day, and now his judgment is starting to go by the wayside as well. That's a poor shot.
Shot by Crowder, no good.
Yeah, and he had the D tangled up there with that patented crossover. Just couldn't convert the finish.
And Utah making a change here. Ingles is checked in. Chris Paul, he's checked in for the Rockets. Utah trailing here. 56 seconds left to play in the final quarter. Here's Mitchell to tie it up. And a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot 2 here.
See, now, Mitchell is a quick-footed guard, and he's going to get defenders in compromising situations.
And he cannot get the first one to drop. Tough one to miss.
Boy, you have to admire Donovan Mitchell. This guy is capable of playing either guard position, and he plays with so much passion and energy, guys. It's infectious.
And the second of 2 is good. That narrows the gap to 1. 51 seconds left in the fourth. Mitchell against Harden. Kicks it to Paul. Clock at 6. To the right side. Pass to Harden. And they'll turn it over. Could not get off a shot. 24-second violation.
You know, you've got to be composed mentally right now at this time of the game. It's really careless play right there.
Derek Favors checked in for Jay Crowder. And the Jazz call time here. They're down by 1. 27 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. And now let's present our Jordan Player of the Game, James Harden.
And he's played this entire game on his front foot, Kevin. I mean, driving the lane, going to the rim with purpose, and getting those points the hard way.
Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with David Aldridge.
Well, during the break, I listened in on Quinn Snyder's huddle. He really got after him in the huddle. He said, look, you can rest after the game. You got to put it all out there if you want to win this one. Back to you guys.
And here are the Rockets now. Nothing doing offensively yet for them in the fourth.
Honestly, just doing what they have to in order to get the basketball back.
Gentlemen, two shots. Blue shot.
Good on the first, and that will put them up by 2.
And the southpaw stroke of Harden is just beautiful to watch. When he's cooking, he's one of the more lethal scorers in our league.
So he goes 2 for 2 at the line, and it's a 3-point game.
Boy, it doesn't get much bigger than that. A perfect trip to the line to give them the critical 3-point cushion. What poise.
Utah calls timeout. They're trailing by 3. 16 seconds left to play in the final quarter. Guys, what do you think?
And right now, you can go for the 2 and then a quick foul, or go for the home run.
Well, you've got to be smart regardless of what you choose to do. You shouldn't just heave the 3 if it's not there. Let's see what happens.
Here's Ingles. It's good. And what a sensational bucket to bring them within 1.
Fearless, decisive, on point.
Which is exactly what you have to be, especially when your team needs a bucket.
No choice but to foul there, but he's probably the last guy you want to see on the line.
2 shots.
It's the first, and that will put them up by 2. So he gets them both, and it's a 3-point game. 11 seconds left here in the fourth quarter.
And a chance here to send it to overtime.
A clean 3 is the only play. How about Joe Ingles stepping up in the clutch to deliver a big-time bucket?
Now a timeout called by Houston. And so it's Houston with it. Got it up in time. Oh, it's off the mark. And we're going to overtime. And regulation now complete. We will go to overtime. Live from Vivint Smart Home Arena, you're watching 2K Sports. Glad to have you with us as we get going in overtime. Neither team giving an inch in this one. Tip-off goes to Houston. And always a good ride in these post-regulation battles. This overtime now looking to be an exciting one. All fueled up and ready to go to overtime basketball here, brought to us by Gatorade. Let's check out who's on the floor. So on the floor for Utah, Rubio teams up with Mitchell in the backcourt. Ingles outside with Favors at power forward. And it's Gobert in at the center position. Utah calls timeout. They're behind by 2. There's 53 seconds left in the first overtime. Mitchell against Harden. Shot from 12. Gobert finds Favors. Yes! And tie game. That is a huge basket right there.
How about Derek Favors in a critical moment, not wavering, not hesitating, just delivering.
And so now a timeout taken by Mike D'Antoni. Harden the pass to Gordon. Second shot opportunity.
An intimidating force who continues to wipe away shots with ease. Go to work, Rudy Gobert. Such a clutch shooter. This guy lives for these kinds of moments and delivers.
Utah calls timeout. They're trailing by 2. We've got 28 seconds left to play in OT, and this battle continuing. And Rubio kicks to Mitchell. 4 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. And Capella sends it back. And they foul intentionally. They're going to have to do that now again and again. They're not in the penalty yet. And it's Houston's ball. They've led by as much as 10. And an intentional foul right there.
Two shots.
Good on the first, and that makes it a 3-point lead. And he hits both free throws here. So now it's a 4-point ball game.
He's able to make it a 2-possession game with some solid work at the line right there.
Here's Mitchell. It falls! And he has brought them to within 2 points.
He might be young, but Mitchell is clutch. That's beautifully done.
And they need to stop the clock, so there's a foul.
Take a break. Take a break. Two shots.
Gets the first, and that makes it a 3-point lead.
And any discussion about CP3 has to start with his hands. The dribble moves, all the steals he gets, he uses his hands better than just about anybody.
And so both free throws are good, and it's a 4-point ball game.
And you can wrap this one up. Great job to stay cool at the line and finish it off.
So it's a narrow victory for the Rockets, pulling it out for the W. And they had some nervous moments down the stretch, but things finally came together for them in overtime.
Yeah, probably didn't anticipate that this one would be that close down the wire, but give them credit. They were able to regroup in that overtime, and this win has to feel satisfying.
And now let's catch up with David Aldridge, who's standing by from the sideline. All right, Dave.
Thanks, Kevin. Congrats, James, on the win. This is a very tough team. What does it mean to beat them?
It meant a lot. We wanted to come out here and play with some energy. Guys made shots defensively. It was a gutsy win for us.
I'm sure you'll see these guys again. Thanks, James. Back to you, Kevin.
David, thank you as always. For Greg Anthony, Doris Burke, and David Aldridge, and the rest of our terrific crew, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. See you later.